Thank you so much for tuning in once again to the Cartel Flow. This is Auntie Shan. In case you didn't already know, today is a very special day. We are honoring the women who carry families on their backs, the women who stretch love across prison walls, the women who raise children while holding hope in one hand and responsibility in the other. Society often talks about incarceration, but really about the women who keep life moving outside of those gates. This conversation is about truth, it's about strength, it's about compassion, it's about kinship, because no one survives alone. We survive. Tudo, Djunto, all together, together as one. Welcome everybody to the Cartel Flow. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again, ladies, for joining the Cartel Flow. I mean, I already have met you, but the rest of the city might not, and I'm here to show everybody what time it is. This is my girlfriends, Jarelis.
You said it good.
All right, I'm learning, Joanna. Yep. And we already know my sister, yes. Villar. So you girls are mothers. Mm-hmm. And you have men that are inside, and you're holding it down. And I think that that's something that, gets overlooked sometimes. I met you through this incredible group called Tudo, Djunto. Did I get that one?
Tudo,
Djunto. Tudo, Djunto. I'm getting better. I'm going to practice it. I'll get it. I'm going to be singing that in the shower. Tudo, Djunto.
I'm going to school you every day. Say Tudo, Djunto for me right now.
Yeah. So, without further ado, I'd like you ladies to be able to introduce kind of like, what does it feel like for you to be a mother? We got you on. I just want to ask you this one first because I want to know what it feels like to be a mom because I don't have any children. Mm-hmm. So you have a blessing right there. Children,
I feel like depending on the day, it can be very challenging.
Yeah.
But some days it feels very rewarding. It's work that I also learn about myself within being a parent. So I think again, depending on the day, I think like I'm in a funky stage right now, which everybody always tells me when they get to their teens, it's like that. Like they get more rebellious and they say things that's like, oh, ouch, no, you don't say stuff like that to me. I am still the parent, and me and my son have a very understanding relationship, but also like friendship. But he knows when he presses the boundary, I'm gonna
Oh, that's good though.
Lay the law down, right?
If he hangs out with auntie, he'll get him to worry. That's the thing.
Right, no.
Kids love me. They're like, yeah,
Definitely
sure, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead, paint on the wall. I don't care.
And my husband's mother's the same, I feel like. Like, she always give him money and like, it's
Of course, grandma lets him get away with everything.
And my mom too, so it's like, but yeah.
And as we're sitting here next to our friend Joanna, who's on the phone, she's got the call going right now, and this is what daily life looks like, by the way, when your man is inside.
I agree 100%.
Okay, your man. This is what your daily life looks like. Now there's free calls. When I had a boyfriend in jail, I had to use. Yeah. They had to call my parents' house collect. They love that. My mother and father, they love that one. Yeah, sure. So, and Luz, like this is an event that you hosted here in Brockton a couple of weeks ago that was so successful that so many people came out for in a blizzard for you, and it's because of the culture and like just our city and just two communities wanting to come together for the same exact reason. And that's really what we're all here for. I mean, how are you going to make change if you can't be the change yourself? You have to represent it, right?
Right.
And that's really it. And I feel that you guys do that all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that not a lot of people hear your voices as females and like what it's like to get through a day like this, every day, So like you have your own hiccups, right? And like your man might be in jail, and you like. Let's just say, is that the right way to say it? Yeah. Listen, I'm from incarcerated. I'm not trying to
behind the wall.
Behind the wall. I mean, listen, I know I don't want to use the wrong words, but like what I'm saying is like, you guys are dealing with your own stuff here. Your work, your kid, the house, maybe the pipe broke or something. It's 31 inches of snow. Who's going to shovel it, right? And then you got to deal with something that went on inside. That's like. Aggravate now because you can't fix it, right? You can't go in and fix that part, and I don't know if you guys are like fixes, like you try to go in and fix it, no matter what.
I mean, they're doers. That's how we ended up with Tudo Djunto, right? Mm-hmm. I'll let y'all keep talking, but I did want to highlight. I was asked to MC the event. It was hosted, organized, and all put together by these amazing individuals. Even a few other people were part of their assembly team. But it takes a village. And so I have an incarcerated parent. Everybody will get into their background, but when your loved ones serve the time, the family serves it with them as well. And so that's really what we want to highlight today. And then just like be raw about what that is like. Right. You mentioned we now have free calls. I remember working in policy, and I was a staff member for elected official when that policy was still on the floor. And how many times it comes up and goes back. Same thing with the life without parole bill, goes up and doesn't pass. Yeah. Life without parole passed, free calls passed, but they still didn't give us our restore rights for convicted felons. And so we are still working on that one. That will be a future ballot question.
It's going through House Ways and Means right now.
Okay.
So that was something in a separate event for the universal voting rights that I recently, kind of like us wrapping up that period of, we didn't get all the signatures we needed to get the question on the ballot, but there's still a bill at play. And that's like...
How many more signatures do you need?
No. The signatures aspect of it is kind of like at a dead end.
Okay.
Because they only give you like maybe a month and a half or two.
But I want to add
get
to
like
that.
75,000 signatures.
That part.
75,000 people in a month and a half.
And that number is contingent upon voter turnout from the previous year. So if there was a high influx of people voting, then they're going to take a certain percentage of that. Yeah. So I want to highlight that because she just mentioned they had 1.5 months to get 75,000 plus signatures to get this question on the ballot. That's not even securing
That's
anything.
unbelievable.
Just to get the question on the ballot.
Yep.
And that's a whole nother process. And so on top of everything these women do, on top of maintaining their connections with their loved ones that are behind the wall, they're moving policy, building community, taking care of the kids, making sure the calls are happening and being answered, whatever they need done. The family's still connected.
Exactly.
Man, the way you put it, I'm like, we do a lot.
Yes, you do.
And then you gotta go to work, and then you gotta cook, and then you gotta clean, and then you gotta still show up and be a mom and be a sister and be a friend and be a daughter.
Yeah.
They do all that. And then they come here after working and drive
traffic.
2 hours
Right?
and do this for us. So,
Thank you.
Yes,
for coming
absolutely.
here to join us.
It's a pleasure.
So my name is Joanna Dawn. My husband is Amos Dawn, currently at MCI Norfolk. And so we literally started our journey between the two of us started a long time ago when we were kids. But the advocacy, that was like, I think it was 2021. And it was an idea that he had created where he wanted to pretty much create Dawn of Creation as a means to take the narrative back. With his situation, for his wrongful conviction, there's like an article in the newspaper about him, and the way they portrayed him was as if he was a monster. And there's just so many different aspects to what they portrayed in that story that they didn't put in the story. So they cut out a lot of stuff. Like they cut out that his whole family was there. Like
Of course they did.
a lot of people love him, and he's a very family friend. Whoever you are, like he connects to people.
We're all God's children. It's the one simple thing.
He's really good at connecting to people in a way that is very, for me, it's very peculiar because it's not easy for me to connect like that. But with him, like he shows me how to connect, and that's why he had so many people present on the day that he got sentenced. And so in the article, they made it seem as if, he was laughing at or smiling, at a time that he shouldn't have been smiling, but he was smiling because he saw his whole family, church members, friends, they were all lined up in the courtroom. So Dawn of Creation was a means to take the narrative back. And so he realized, we would go around to anybody that would let me and him come in the room with him on the phone, on the speaker, and like hear his poetry. And so with us being able to do that, along the way, we realized that he's not the only one that can do poetry. He's not the only one that has a voice. There's other poets in there. There's other people that have things that they have to say about taking their narrative back, and they don't have anybody to represent them. So then that's how we ended up coming up with Dawn of Creation, Ink from Honey, where we have poets, just come on to whatever events that we're going to, and then we just play their poetry. So we go to Lizard Lounge like once a year. We're trying to make that more often in Cambridge. And then we have people at the lounge, and they're so open. Like it was crazy to me. Like when we do it, it's crazy to me how many people want to volunteer because some people don't have a loved one to read for them. So then people in the audience will volunteer to read the poetry on behalf of the poet, and they'll take it for like a couple of weeks so they can get the right vibe and get the full sense of what the person was trying to portray in poetry. So it's a really touching
That is
story.
touching.
Yeah.
Please let us know to stay tuned when the next one of those events is.
Absolutely.
Because that's something else.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the fact that people just volunteer, right? Doesn't that kind of move you?
It's touching.
It is, because strangers. It's sometimes, that's the thing in life, you know, your family, your friend, you know, you can't choose them, but strangers come out of the woodwork to help and support each other for the right reasons. And I think that that's a big deal. And now let me ask, so Amos is a poet. Now, does he teach poetry while he's in behind the wall?
He doesn't like to toot his own horn or anything like that. He's very modest, and he's like, because he sees it as, for instance, one of the poets, Elijah, Just I See Allah. He's one of our newer poets, a young Haitian man, and he published his first book, but Amos would kind of mentor him. But the thing is that for Amos, he doesn't like to tell people that's what he's doing because Just I See Allah has his own talent. It's something that was already in him.
Right.
Amos is just like, this is what I did, and then I connected with his family, you know, and then we would talk on the phone, and then I would guide them through Amazon and how to publish their books and everything. Because that's how this was the first book, My Blue Days Sound Like Blue Jays. That was the first book that we ever published. And it was the scariest thing ever because I am not a writer. I was barely a reader a couple months ago. So, so I just got into that. And that, honestly, I really got into it because I'm trying to understand my husband and his fight, but then also as a Black woman, how privileged I am as a Black woman to be outside and free and to be able to go where I please and to have the rights that I do. So for me, I just wanted to get a better understanding of that and then to be able to really stand on something besides, you know, like I'm fighting for my husband. Yes, I'm fighting for my husband, but there's so many other people that have the same fight.
And their stories need to be told too, right?
Exactly. It starts with just being able to stand up somewhere and speak.
So is My Blue Days Sound Like Blue Jays, is that just Amos's book, or is that a collaboration with multiple authors?
That's a collaboration with multiple authors. So we have some authors inside, not authors, but it's a collaboration of people that do different things.
Yeah.
So we have someone who translated the book, Cape Verdean man, Henrico Andrade, if I said that right. So Henrico Andrade translated the whole entire book into Cape Verdean Creole. He's also inside. So we gave jobs to different people to give them something to look forward to and something to do. John Campbell did the illustrations. He does tattooing, but you know they forbid that. So putting it in a place that can be beneficial for him.
Yeah.
He ended up actually drawing the whole entire book, and then we just got the graphic design to take all his. He did it in colored pencils.
Colored pencils.
Every single one of those.
So if you show the
pages of colored
original,
pencils. Colored
like we
pencils.
was talking about
Colored
earlier.
pencils.
Colored pencils,
Right here.
yep.
Colored pencil.
Yep.
That's some good stuff right there.
Yep.
That's a lot of time and energy and talent to blend that with
Yeah.
colored pencil.
With limited
I
resources.
was going to say
Very
with limited
limited.
tools.
But, you know,
Sometimes I have
welcome to Brockton.
Yo, how did
Limited
they
resources.
do
Ballpoint
this? Sometimes
ink.
they get
And a number two.
Look at this.
oil
Look at this.
type
The
of
fine
like,
detail here.
I don't know,
Look at the pay attention to the detail in
pencils
the
or
cloud.
markers. Or,
That's the stuff that really like. So and these are all paintings from artists as well.
yes. Behind us we have some featured art of Johnson. He goes by Johnson. His name is John Goins, and he's one of the founders of Tudo, Djunto. And there's so much more than this. But I think I brought these in particular because it highlights the women. Like we're here today speaking on behalf of our loved ones and our experience and the process. But I think for me, like seeing these men's talent, like Johnson's talent and so many other men's talent displayed that way, it paints a picture of how gifted these men are behind the wall as well.
And humanizes them.
Yes,
Exactly.
that part
Look at
too.
the words that are on here: hope, loyalty, love, life. I mean, these are the words that are very.
And this is flipped. So death is on the bottom and life. So it's like the way they flipped it this.
I see.
It's like
In
it's like the
tear.
same word in that thing, but it's definitely in
Yeah,
reverse.
and the tear. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, the tier is really detailed. This is actually like what the wall part of Norfolk looks like. There's like a
that's the actual prison structure.
yeah, like so.
Wow.
With the bars and then the
And
brick
then the
wall.
the pole, the wire. I would love. Is he gonna be able to jump on with us?
I'm waiting for him to call
That's-
back. I think
I
they're in
hope
like
so.
a meeting or something.
But
right
this
now.
is the
But
reality
this is
too.
the reality
Yeah.
of it. So like you're like trying to do your thing, you trying to work your job, go shopping. These are the things that get interrupted, right? Because you got to take your call from your guy.
Well, the thing is that
You only get limited.
MC, that's one good thing, one of the many good things about MCI Norfolk. Like, there are some things that are messed up. Like the correctional officers, the way they treat, the visitors when they come in to come see their loved ones. Like, before we can even get in the room, we're going through all this. It's like a battlefield. So we have to go through so much before we even get in the room. But right now, he's at a meeting. The men are really good at organizing themselves, hence Tudo, Djunto and the African American Coalition Committee. They organize themselves in a way that I don't think I've ever seen or heard of outside. And there's a lot
Which
of
is how
them.
I met them.
A lot of them. How many
Yeah.
did you see when you went?
With the AACC, there is over 250.
In North, all around.
And I'm don't
Inside
even
the
quote me,
prison, having
behind the
meetings.
wall.
Wait.
Yeah.
AACC, the last
Inside
time.
like one prison in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have way more than that. I'm saying AACC itself, the African American Coalition Committee, is comprised of 250 members, just a little bit over. And then Tudo Djunto, which is a subcommittee of that, is about 31 members right now. And that's who Johnson, who she mentioned, is one of the founders of that. So the African American Coalition Committee, one of our panelists that were supposed to come, but the blizzard ended up deterring him. He didn't make it. I met him while he was behind the wall. Fuquan,
Yeah.
yep. And while Fuquan was behind the wall, and then when he came home. So there's a few people, but it's interesting. I really wanted to make sure that when you extended the invite to join this conversation, when I said yes, I certainly understand and know these two incredible beings and their stories, but also just adding the full picture of like as a child. I'm 34 right now, so my father was sentenced August 1991. I was born October 1991. So it's like my whole life he's never been there, but he was the one, and I want to add to their narrative, like, right, what you're hearing humanizes these individuals that the media portrays and vilifies. And they portray them in a certain light and just make them out to look a certain way. I mean, it's why we even lost our voting rights. They did it with Willie Horton, even taking photos of him and darkening the skin complexion and then printing that out in the newspapers. That was something that was intentionally done. So that's something I noticed 10 plus years ago when I first started working in policy. So when things happened with my own family, my father was sentenced to life, we all like disseminate, and we lost contact with him for 20 years. African American Coalition Committee, although these men are incarcerated, they organize, like Joanna was saying, like no other. They know policy better than these elected officials. I've seen it with my own eyes. High-ranking officials, like literally asking, like, can you please elaborate, or what does that mean, you know? And so, which is further, like, it shows how diligent these men are. And so, when the person I was running for, she was running for Congress. The person who was in that seat for 31 years. And everyone told her, that's crazy, you need to wait your turn. She's a black woman. Oh, they've never had a black person represent Congress, there's no way. When she won, she said, I need to go back and thank the members of the AACC, because each of those 250 men all committed and took a pledge to get 3 people outside the wall to vote for her. And even though that's 250 men, that's 3 people per person, that's almost 1,000 votes. You could win by 1 vote. A win is a win, right? And for them to organize and have the power of 1,000, let me tell you, I ran for mayor and didn't even get 1,000 votes. Come on now, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes, you did, girl. Don't please. Let's talk about it. We'll do that another day.
I got 1,000 likes.
She said, nah.
I'm likes,
in that voting.
But no, you know, I was just being humorous. But truly, in all seriousness, the power of their organizing and their efforts and how diligent they are. Although they are behind the wall, what they do, the work they do, and just being connected with them. I got reconnected to my father after 20 years because of these men. I never even knew where he was at.
Wow.
And they all knew him. And once I started going in to visit him and we reconnected. That's a whole nother story for another day. When I started going behind the wall, my father was sentenced to life. He was so disconnected from the family. He was such a grouch behind the wall. Like people would say, "Oh, that's your dad." Like, I'm like, I know
your dad.
He hard-headed. Yeah, we know. You know, and they've come around. But even with my father, when a lot of things were happening, I'm working, I'm moving. I was going to grad school. My father's being moved around to different facilities, different prisons, without us even knowing in the family. And it was them, the members of AACC, and Tudo, Djunto, right? You never know who knows who. And they're reaching out to me because I'm working with them in a policy capacity. And they're like, hey, your father's at, Gardner, and we're going to look out for, oh, he was just at Concord. They got to move him. They're fighting with the young ones or whatever. Understanding all of those dynamics too. And we need to do another show to even talk about how the process and what society is like behind the wall too. Because even how people come home and that transition is something, we could free everybody, but the infrastructure to take care of people and sustain them is not there yet. Fully,
I agree. Yeah.
So, but just to wrap up what I was saying and just echoing their level of organizing and how everything starts to come together. Once my father saw that and we become reconnected, now these men really, they practice what they preach and they're extending the olive branch, putting their hand out. These are people who have been wrongfully accused of taking people's lives, and these are people that have actually taken someone's life. All bridging that gap, extending the hand, and then making sure the next generation don't have to deal with that, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to emphasize that.
I got him on the line.
You got him on the line?
Yeah.
Welcome, you guys. Welcome to the Cartel Flow. This is a sanctuary with sneakers on. We talk about everything. We talk about life. We want to talk about how your day is. Are you having a good day today? I'm having a great day because you guys are here with the ladies. They came out to join me and lose and just have a conversation about what life is really like. And it's tough. You girls are holding it down. You guys lucky, by the way. Yes, both you men are lucky boys.
So let's let them speak on that.
Don't let Auntie Shannon catch ya.
Tell us more.
I mean, you've got some great ladies. Keep talking about your women. Celebrate them because they are doing it.
Absolutely. That's definitely what we're going to definitely do, and we plan on continuing that. And wife, you already know I tell you this all the time, so I'm definitely grateful that you're in my life, and I'm definitely not surprised that, God blessed me with you, because since young, I definitely crawled under that church bench for you. So my thing is, I'm willing to take that knee more than once.
Love you, boo.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So, yeah.
That's real kind. That's real kind.
There's a whole story with that bench.
Where's the other boy? Where's your man? Where's your man? Is he right there? Has he got something to say? Yeah, come on, Paulino. Let's go. Come on.
I want to say I'm so thankful for my wife, Jarelis. She is amazing. She's everything. Without her, I always felt that I wouldn't be nothing. So I felt like my wife, we knew each other for a long time, and she just, her heart's in it. So is y'all, and I always thank her every day, and sometimes I'm a real thorn in her back, because I can be a lot sometimes, but I did a lot of growing, and I'm definitely not the man I used to be, but I'm still in a work in progress. But if it wasn't for this woman right here, I don't think I'd be this man today.
I love you.
You guys are great. I want you to know that at the end of the day, nobody really should be the judge of jury of anybody's life but their own when they look in the mirror at the end of the day. And that's the big thing. People don't really understand how to be kind and treat others with respect and dignity. And look at how beautiful you just spoke about your woman. So it don't matter really what you did last year or whatever. I don't really care. I like how you talk about your lady. You see, you guys are very respectful men. And it shows, and that's the only way that you can make change.
Definitely keep in mind too. You say you still got wrongful conviction over here. You saying I love my lady, 100%. But the talk definitely got it. You say always remember wrongful conviction, like Lou was saying. We definitely need to free ourselves from in here, because there's definitely a lot of misjustice and injustice happening. So
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's why we're coming out April 30th for Paulino. So
Yes.
take the
right,
village.
Yes.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We'll be
Shout out
there.
to his freedom.
Yes. Parole hearing.
I want to say is,
Parole hearing. You see that? Getting ready for parole. You see, this is what life is like. You know, you got to work. You got this, the reality. Like you got to, you
And
know.
Jarelis has been organizing that, making sure we get the letters of support and we got the template right.
Yeah, and I
Back
think
on,
I'm
we get it
learning
to her the
some
same
new
day.
skills about myself that I didn't even
You didn't realize
fathom that I had on the level that I was doing.
Army switchblade.
And Joanna did with the video editing and photography and all this stuff. Like Dawn.
All the pictures
Yeah.
from the Tudo Djunto event was done by Joanna and Jamal.
Yeah,
That's
Jamal
unbelievable.
Spencer,
Yeah, but it's a great job. So beautiful, beautiful job. And I have
I
this
want to say one
amazing.
more thing.
Yeah.
I don't want me to cut you off. I want to say that one thing I always heard is that when your wives or your significant other is with you in this time, it's like they're doing the time with you, and it's true. Like I really agree with that. Like they're here to do everything. They hear us through our struggle, our ups, and they still support us and still being there. And that's a lot for them. And I feel like that's one thing that others gotta realize out there. Like they kind of incarcerated too. Not with all the handcuffs and all that, but they dealing with all that too. So I just want to say that.
Well, I already know. Like, what are you gonna? Who do you call? I mean, you have one. You're gonna call one person. You have one person that you trust.
It's not like she can get up and call him at 3 a.m. when she
Right. She
Yeah.
can't call you, but you can call her. You know. So it's like everybody's waiting for each other's call. You know. It's like
Or even just a hug. You know, it's been proven scientifically hugging someone for 15 seconds alone.
And I will say,
Reduces
like,
cortisol.
that's the reality we face, like, in visits. All we can do is hug them and kiss them at the beginning of every visit and the
That's
end
it.
of
But
every
during just
visit.
sitting there holding your lover while
you
sitting
can't
there,
hold
Yeah,
next
no,
door.
you can't hold
Is
hands.
that
6
new?
hours if you want.
They used
new?
to
Fairly
allow
new.
it,
Yeah, they
and
used
then
to
they
allow
took
that.
it.
COVID, they took it away,
Of course.
and then they just never brought it back.
Okay. Because I'm like that definitely is like.
So we could remember. I remember holding my husband's hand throughout the whole entire visit, but now we can't.
The best
You
thing
can't
on the
hold a
visit
hand?
was holding
Not at
hands.
all.
So
Correct.
That's
That-
ridiculous.
that's the
Who's in
re-
charge of that bill? Is that a law or is
I'll
that
give
is
you
that a
names once we
prison?
shut this off. We got,
Is that a,
Yeah.
we got a minute and
we gotta
15
be with
seconds.
that.
Is there anything y'all want to
Yeah.
say before the
That
line
wasn't
go?
that was definitely not a legislative law. That was pretty much oppression at its best, coming from individual mindsets that end up getting a few clans, members thinking to come together and decide how do we, pretty much break up matrimonies and also relationships that are growing, that's becoming powerful, like the wives that's sitting in front of you right now. So to them, if that's the new culture, they're looking at it like, how do we stop that? Like, how do we end that?
Right. You know, you guys do so much work to try to change the narrative and the future for the generations. You know, you got the children, and it makes a difference to me just hearing you guys, because that's what we're all here for. You know, everybody's trying to make a difference, and it takes other movements coming together, right? As like
This movement of yours is bringing all of our movements together so we can move in unison and move as one.
because if we are not Tudo Djunto,
Exactly.
then
And he said, ah.
did I say it? Did I do that right? Djunto.
Full circle brings it to the Djunto back. Exactly.
See, tell Amos to say it again because he say it good.
Yeah, Tudo Djunto.
There you
Okay,
go.
I'm gonna say arcoiris.
Yep.
Arcoiris terrace.
He knows how to say that one.
I love this book, and I think it's a beautiful book. I can't believe the illustrations in it and the poems. It's great, and I think it's amazing that you put a bunch of different poems together. Pal, you're a very talented guy, and like that you bring other that it's not just you. It's not about one person. It's about a group, because at the end of the day, we're all one of God's children. So we all have to be mindful of that.
Yeah. So they have to do this often.
And they got hung up on.
Yeah.
They
They gotta hang up to come back and hear us. Can you still hear me, babe?
Because lately what's been happening.
Okay,
they
so
can't.
yeah, mine
The
is working.
phones just break.
But I don't have my.
Well, yeah, they just cut
They're
off
about
the 20
to.
minutes.
So, but we're about to
gonna
wrap
get cut off
up.
in a second,
We gotta
so-
get cut off. Yeah. So,
All right, I want to say thank you, and I appreciate y'all. Hey, you want to say something, Nemo? Yeah, I'm on Paulino's line right now because mine jumped off. But yeah, definitely appreciate it to Djunto. You know, we appreciate you for letting us be here tonight, and for the ladies, Johnny, my wife Joanna, Luz. Thank you for being a supporter and allowing us an auntie also. That's what they call you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well, then you're saying thank you. You're saying for being an auntie to the Djunto today.
For real, this is a sanctuary with secrets on. Wait, can't wait for you to get out. We'll have a party over here. You're definitely gonna be on.
we gotta give Tudo Junto the respect it deserves. Let's say it all together, one loud time. Last time that we can.
Ready?
One more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Tudo Junto.
Hey.
Did I do it good? I got it. And I also got the book here in my hands. Everybody like, follow, and share. It's down here. It's at,
It's on Amazon.
it's on Amazon, but I gotta get this right.
And
One
they
more
can
time.
follow Dawn of Creations online.
And look at all this beautiful artwork. And guess who's gonna be featured here from my
Yeah, I gotta
mental
do
health
it.
awareness? So we're gonna have a gathering, and we're gonna have you guys come out and visit us. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on the Cartel Flow. And I always have to give a shout out to the Brockton Community Access Network. Thank you so much to my fellow friends here. Michelle, you are the best. You are love. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. This has been an amazing night.